What we've got here on stage is a mix of Ford racing. We've got three different teams. We've got Ford Racing. We've got two different teams with the Wood Brothers and Front Row Motorsports as well. We're going to talk to them here on stage individually, and then afterwards, everyone's going to be available next door for the breakout one-on-one interviews. And we're going to start with two gentlemen representing Ford Racing. First, Ford Racing Director Jamie Allison, immediately to my right, and of course, Doug Yates, the CEO of Roush Yates Engines. Jamie, we'll start with you. A year ago at this time, we were at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It was a nice parade with the Ford cars and whatnot around here. Showed off the new Gen 6 cars with a parade around Charlotte. Now getting ready for 2014. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to what lies ahead.
Absolutely, but first I'd like to recognize and acknowledge two Ford teams here with us today. Front Row Motorsports with the victory last season, and the Wood Brothers, 2 wins away from 100 wins. Trevor, guys, right, this season? Let's do it.
Sounds good. I told you 2 out of 12 would be pretty good. But, we'll see what happens.
And then obviously with Front Row, the win last season, we just, take it now and we build on that, right? Another couple wins next season. Great job. But seriously, as a Ford team, if I can talk a little bit about the Ford teams, 2013 is certainly not the season we had expected, and certainly not the season that shows the potential of the Ford teams. With the caliber of teams, the championship drivers that we have on roster, whether it's at Roush, at Penske, Front Row, the Wood Brothers, or RPM, our strength is our team and the teamwork, and that's our emphasis in 2014, the teamwork. Certainly we're going to be focused on the technical development in the area of aerodynamics, simulation, and obviously with my brother next to me, Doug Yates, with engine development. But at the end of the day, teamwork, working together, collaboration, putting the strength of all the championship drivers and the championship teams together is what's going to take us to the next level. So we're very excited about 2014. 2013 is behind us. Let's go racing.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And moving on to Doug Yates, the co-owner and CEO of Roush Yates Engines. Since Roush Yates was formed in 2004, Ford Racing has won 76 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races, and that's pretty impressive. And, Doug, we're waiting till Speed Weeks in Daytona, but you kind of got a head start in Daytona, already down there for the Rolex 24. Talk about what you got looking now forward ahead to this season.
Yeah, well, first, I'm honored to be here today on behalf of Ford Racing, and it's great to see everybody. It's good to get started again, ready for 2014. I want to thank Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company, it starts at the top with Edsel Ford, Jim Farley, Rajneer. Racing is supported from the very top. Ford was founded on racing, and we're proud to be able to carry that on. With Jamie Allison's leadership, with Dave Simon, and now Mark Rushbrook aboard leading the motorsports effort, we've got a really strong team, and we're looking forward to this year. Obviously, to be able to have guys and teams like this is a real privilege and honor. So I'd like to make sure I recognize our teams that we do support with Roush Fenway Racing, Penske, the Wood Brothers, Richard Petty Motorsports, Mr. Jenkins here in his Front Row Motorsports, Frank Stoddard, Biaggi Dembesti, and Brad Kozlowski's truck team. So we've got some great teams and great drivers we'll be supporting this year, and really looking forward to a great season. Like you said, this is our 10th year, and most of you guys in this room didn't think it would last 1 year. Jack Roush has been a great partner, a great friend to our family, and it was really nice when we put that program together. Since then, obviously, my dad's retired, and Jack and I are carrying it on. But since we started 10 years ago, we have 187 wins, 4 championships, and 3 Daytona 500s. And that's something to be proud of, but I think the answer is going to be today. The last Cup championship was 10 years ago. And so the goal for this year is to provide race-winning, championship-winning engines for these guys to get back in victory lane. So thanks for your time, and I look forward to questions later and look forward to 2014 season. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doug. Appreciate all y'all's hard work. All right, let's move on to the Wood Brothers, and you can see seated up here on the back part of the stage, co-owners Len and Eddie Wood, crew chief Donnie Wingo, and the only man in the blue shirt here today, and they were picking on him earlier. Yeah. And Trevor Bain, the driver of the number 21 Motorcraft Ford Fusion, and of course 2011 Daytona 500 champion. Len Wood, we're going to start with you. And for the past 5 years, y'all have run a limited schedule. Can you tell us what 2014 will look like?
We plan on running 12 races again. Spots by quick lane Motorcraft and Quick Lane, and we are always trying to find more races. We had a couple of deals working for 2 or 3 races, and nothing's really materialized yet. But we'll run pretty much the same schedule, the races where we feel we can run the best. Obviously, Speedways works really good with Trevor, so we'll run those 4, and then intermediates are the other part.
All right, and Eddie Wood, I mean, the Wood brothers has been around for many decades in the sport of NASCAR. Limited schedule is great, and it's obviously, we've seen a lot of great success out of that. But how bad do you guys want to get back to being out there all 36 weeks?
We would really love to be back full time. With so much emphasis now on the championship with the chase and the changes that are rumored to be coming with the points and all that stuff. We work towards getting back full time all the time. My kids, John and Jordan, they do a lot of research and try to generate marketing strategies, and we're open to anything to find to find more funding. That being said, we're very, very, very fortunate to have the partners in Ford Motor Company and Motorcraft Quick Lane like we have over the past forever. And, they've done their part. They've kept us in business. They've actually kept us going, when things got tough for us. So they've done their part. So it's kind of up to us to find, extra funding to find someone to partner up with Motorcraft Quick Lane to finish it off, at least to get more races and then work towards finishing it to where we can run all of them.
All right, very good. Donnie Wingo, we already heard some rule changes for this year, and we expect to hear some more tomorrow. But your job as a crew chief and the way you strategize a race weekend, whether it's from qualifying to the race, what kind of challenges does this year present to you?
Yeah, I think, as we go along here, like you said, some of the rules are out, and we're still waiting on some to see how the qualifying is actually going to shake out. But I think that's going to be a lot of excitement for the fans to qualifying. There'll be some strategy involved in that. You'll have basically one set of tires to do your 3 runs, so teams will be focusing on making sure they get in the top 24. You've got to do that to start with, and then play the strategy from there to make sure that you have tires at the end if you're wind up in the last. And I think NASCAR has put a lot of emphasis this year with the testing they've done over the winter at Charlotte, with a lot of teams participating in trying to improve the 1.5-mile tracks and the intermediate tracks like that. And I think one of the biggest rules that I think the teams have been really working hard on is the no ride height rule. And now that the teams can focus more on trying to get more grip in the car without necessarily, having to run bump stops all the time. Now we can go back to run springs because basically you can set the car where you need to set it. So I think NASCAR's taking a big step there to where we don't have to focus on also getting the car to come back up for the post-race tech and post-qualifying tech. So it puts more emphasis on trying to get the cars to drive better, and hopefully the races will be better.
And Trevor Bain, no pressure. I mean, we know Donnie is going to build fast race cars for you. We know Doug Yates is going to build some fast engines for you, and you've already got the pressure of 2 more wins this year to hit that milestone. So what do you think?
So, no pressure, none at all, right, Jamie? No, it's good to see you guys. I know it's been like an hour, but we're excited to be here with a white shirt on now with Motorcraft and Quick Lane. I'm really looking forward to this season. Back to your rule changes and the qualifying method, I think that does have more of an effect on my Cup side than it does my Nationwide side, generally being a go or go home kind of car, not running full time. Now, if we're locked in the top 24, that second session, we can really get after it. And if you make a mistake, then you're still locked in. But you have that chance to go out and try to go for poles and not have to worry about going over that edge. Obviously, the first session you do. But we really felt like last year and the year before that, the tracks where I could make 2 laps, I could get in on the first lap and then the second lap do a lot better. For instance, Michigan, Kansas, places like that with new pavement. So I think that does change my strategy a little bit. I think it's going to be good. And I think right now we have about as many races as we have people, with about 15 to 20 people at the shop. So, if more races come on, we have, up to 16 to 20 races I think we could handle pretty strong. But if if anybody's out there that wants to do a full season, I'm sure we could get some more men on board and make it happen. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity, though. When Jack and Eddie and Lynn came together and decided that this would be a place for me in 2010 to get my Cup debut at Texas, I didn't know where it would lead me to, but here I am in 2014 again with this great group of guys and an opportunity to go out here with Ford and make a splash even as a part-time team. And like Jamie said, we still have an opportunity to win races. These guys really believe in our super speedway program. We're actually headed to Talladega as soon as I leave here pretty much after stopping by Nashville for a couple days to try to go make our stuff better. And it's kind of even playing field there. The thing that Donnie and I will work out is just communication, because we pretty much race once a month, and that makes it a little bit more challenging, but we know that. We know what we're up against, and we know our strengths and we know our weaknesses, and we'll try to pinpoint those better and make more of this season to where we can contend for those top 10s and top 15s, and then that leads to those top fives and wins that you're looking for.
All right, we wish the Wood Brothers great success this year for sure. Also joining us on stage here in the front is Front Row Motorsports, and we're joined today by owner Bob Jenkins, drivers David Reagan and David Gilliland. And for the new face on the stage, Front Row is happy to announce today that Eric McClure will join the team for the Daytona 500 in the number 35 Ford with the sponsorship of Hefty and Reynolds Wrap. As many of you know, Eric and Hefty Reynolds Wrap were longtime competitors in the Nationwide Series and look to make their first start in the Great American Race when the green flag drops on Speed Weeks coming up here in just a couple of weeks next month. Love's Travel Stops will return as the primary sponsor on David Gilliland's number 38 for 14 races. CSX will return as the primary sponsor of David Reagan's number 34 for 4 races. Farm Rich, which David took to victory lane last year at Talladega, will return as the primary sponsor of the number 34 in Phoenix in March. And Bob Jenkins, let's start with you. Thinking back when you started, and you don't have to think back too far, back in 2009. How do you feel sitting here now in 2014 with the trophy on the shelf and a lot of success with your team?
Well, I feel pretty good. People always say, were you shocked when you guys won a race? And to be honest with you, the answer is no. The good thing about David is they go every week trying to win a race. And so I think they've had enough top 10s and some top 5s on the speedways that we were almost due to have that day. But I'll tell you, I'm very proud of the progress our guys have made. The good thing about us is we build all of our own cars, and that's great, but our cars wouldn't go without Doug Yates' horsepower. And I really want to mention that because it's a great equalizer for a small team like ours. And just the partnership with Ford, they've been great partners, just great fans of us. And Jamie's the first guy to give me a hug when something good happens. And so we're pretty excited about this year. We've got a good group of sponsors in CSX and Love's and Farm Rich, and now with Hefty Reynolds for the Daytona 500. And so I'm really pleased that some of these partnerships have started to work and mature. I couldn't be more excited about 2014. The new chase format really favors a team like ours. It's certainly a long shot, but if we can figure out a way to win another race this year, it elevates us potentially into the chase, and then we'd have to rethink everything. We'd obviously have to go out and do some crazy things to try to be more competitive in the chase, but it does open the door to teams like ours to have some success, and I think it's good for the sport.
All right, very good. Let's jump over to David Gilliland now. Last year, I don't think any of us can forget you pushing your teammate David Reagan to that big win at Talladega. Great night. And the Love's Ford that you're driving this year obviously has a lot of power in it, and you've got them on board for a good handful of races. How much does that help you going into a season, knowing that you've got support backing you?
It helps a lot. Love's Travel Stops has been a great partner for Front Row Motorsports. We obviously had a great run at Talladega with them, and looking forward to trying to turn that into more races. Obviously, they've extended their partnership with Front Row, and that's very exciting for all of us and all the employees over there. And as our team continues to grow, I think it's a good sign for Front Row that a lot of our sponsors and partners are coming back, and not only coming back, but expanding their partnerships with us. So I'm really excited, looking forward to this year, and feel like we've made some great strides. With our race cars, making them better and faster, and got a lot of the same guys working that were working last year, and they're working in harmony, and feel really good about kicking off this season.
And David Reagan, that was an amazing win. Of course, it's going to get you a bid this year in the All-Star race as well, so there's a lot of extra bonus that comes with that. But in the off-season, you had the opportunity to play free agent, but you decided to stick with the folks at Front Row. So I'm guessing that says a lot about your commitment to the team and their commitment to you.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud to be here on the stage today with Bob Jenkins and David Gillen, Jerry Freeze out in the audience, Eric McClure that's going to be joining us for Daytona. We've not only had a great business and working relationship, but we've become really good friends over the last couple of years. And entering my third season at Front Row Motorsports certainly have exceeded some expectations that we set back in 2012, and Bob's really made a big commitment to growing this team. He makes up a lot of the shortfalls that we may have at times when we don't have some of the major sponsors that some of the other teams do have. But couldn't be more happy to have CSX, Farm Rich, Loves Travel Stops, a lot of good sponsors, a lot of good companies that represent what we stand for, and it's great to have their support this early in the year. We haven't even made the first lap at Daytona and Speed Weeks, and we've already got a long-term commitment from some of these teams or some of the sponsors. So definitely excited, and to echo some of the things that David talked about, we've got a lot of same employees returning back to Front Row. We've invested in some of our race cars this offseason, with the partnership that we have with Roush Yates Engines. It's been a big help, something that we can kind of lean on that. That's a consistent part of our team that we know is going to be strong next year. So we definitely have a lot of potential. It is fun to talk about the win last season and the Talladega experience that David and I had, but we can't rest on that forever. We've got to move on. We've got to do it again, to have something else to talk about. So there are going to be some more opportunities to win some races, not only at the speedways. Our short track program, David's a great road racer. We're going to be testing some at some downforce racetracks, so that there's a lot of potential. We've got some obtainable goals for this year, and we plan to work hard over the next few months and getting off to a good start for the 2014 season.
All right, thank you. And finally, Eric McClure, first of all, it's great to see you up here on the stage. It's really wonderful to have you here. You spent 11 seasons racing in the Nationwide Series, some of those actually racing with Front Row, which is great, and you've run some Sprint Cup races before, but your first Daytona 500, this is what you're going to be running for this season. Talk about that.
Well, it's certainly very exciting for me personally. For our family, there's nothing bigger than Daytona and Talladega, but as far as we're concerned, growing up, the Daytona 500 is the biggest race in the world. So as a competitor, we found a home in the Nationwide Series. We've plugged along and improved and been fairly competitive there, but as we looked at all of our options, both from the driving standpoint and from the sponsorship side, we've tried to introduce new and exciting opportunities for our sponsorship partners that have been with us for a long time. So as we evaluated those, and I evaluate my career, and as I phase out of the driving aspect, there's certain things I've wanted to accomplish, certain things I've dreamed about since I was a little boy, and the Daytona 500 is the biggest thing that there is. It's something I've never done, and would love to have the opportunity to compete in that event. So it's just been a perfect storm of things for us. I've known Bob Jenkins for several years. I was with him in the beginning, actually, running the All-Star race in 2005, and then in the Nationwide Series in 2008. So we've become very good friends, and as I've watched his team grow, it reminds me a lot of my dad's team and his brothers. They built something really great out of nothing, and to watch Bob where he started to where he's at now, you look at the quality of people he has, the drivers he has, the sponsorship partners that are starting to join with him, the respected brands, and for us to be able to bring Hefty and Reynolds Wrap over there and just join what they're building is really exciting on both aspects. So from a driver, I'm at the point now I can sit back and I'm trying to take all of this in, the anticipation of getting down there and really have a lot of fun. I want to finish my career with enjoyment, and if we can go down there and qualify for the race, that would be a really big accomplishment for us.